Today we will continue practicing writing equations. This time looking at problems involving multiplication or division. So let's get started. For some of you, the math needed to get the answers for these 5 problems may be obvious, and that is great. But you should still practice writing an equation that will lead to the correct answer, because in the future, the math may not be so obvious. Practicing the fundamentals when it's easy will help when it gets more difficult. So here's problem number 1. A bag of candy costs $8, including taxes. How many bags of candy can you buy with $40? Our first step is to define our unknown. And we're going to call our unknown x. And we're going to look at the question being asked. So how many bags of candy can you buy for $40? So we'll define x as the number of bags of candy. In this case, the number of bags we are buying with that $40. So if we buy 1 bag of candy, it's going to be 1 times 8, and that'll be $8. If we buy 2, it would be 2 times 8, or $16. If we buy 3, it's going to be 3 times 8, which is $24. And if you wanted to, you can continue until you reach $40. But if we buy x bags of candy, it'd be x times 8. So we can write the equation 8x, x times $8, and set it equal to $40. And there is an equation that we could use to solve this problem. So now let's solve this equation. We'll divide both sides by 8 to isolate our unknown variable x. That's going to give us x equal to 5. That means that you can buy 5 bags of candy for that $40. So let's check our answer. So if each bag of candy costs $8 and we buy 5 of them, that's going to cost a total of $40. And that is the amount that was given in the problem. For problem 2, your brother Jack ate 12 of your brownies. That was 2/5 of all your brownies. With how many did you start? Again, we're looking at that question that's being asked. With how many brownies did you start? So we'll use that to define our unknown. So x going to be the number of brownies at the start, before your brother started eating them. So you have x at the start, and he ate 2/5 of those. So 2/5 times the total that you had is going to be equal to the amount he ate. So that's going to be equal to 12. So there is an equation we can use to solve this problem. So let's solve the equation. We will multiply both sides by this reciprocal. So we're going to multiply both sides by 5/2. These all cancel out here, leaving us with 1x, or x. And then we can simplify down this side. We end up with 6 times 5, which is 30. You started with 30 brownies before your brother started eating them. Let's check our answer. So here we're going to put together a ratio. So you had 30 brownies, and your brother ate 12 of them. So let's simplify this ratio. Let's simplify this fraction. So we can rewrite 12 as 2 times 6. And we can rewrite 30 as 5 times 6. Factoring out those numbers. These 6's cancel out. That leaves us with 2/5. That means if Jack ate 12 out of 30 brownies, he ate 2/5 of your brownies. And that is the ratio that is given in the problem. Finally, we have Sarah earned $15.75. That's the total amount of money she earned. What was her hourly wage if she worked? And in part A, we will find her hourly wage if she worked 3 hours. And then in the second problem, we're going to find her hourly wage if she worked a half an hour. So let's look at the question being asked. It's asking, what was her hourly wage? So our unknown variable x, we're going to define as the hourly wage. So that's how much money she makes per hour that she works. And then we'll use this because to calculate how much money she earned, we're going to do hourly wage, and we're going to multiply that by the number of hours worked. And when we do this, we get the total amount earned. So this would be her income that she earned doing her job. So for part A, she worked 3 hours. So her hours worked were 3 hours. Her hourly wage, we don't know, so that's X. And she earned $15.75. So here is an equation we can use to solve this problem. So solving this equation, we divide both sides by 3. And we get X equal to $5.25. So her hourly wage was $5.25. And then checking that answer, we would go $5.25 times 3 hours. And that's going to give us $15.75, which is the amount she earned. Now looking at B, instead of working 3 hours, she worked a half an hour. So we can write this as 0.5, or we can turn this into a fraction. That's 1/2 x equal to $15.75. To solve this equation, we're going to multiply both sides by 2, and this gives us x equal to 31.50. So her hourly wage, if she only worked a half an hour, was $31.50. So a lot more for that hourly wage. So to check this value, we would take $31.50, that's her hourly wage, and multiply it by the hours worked, which was a half an hour, and we get $15.75. So again, both times we checked our answer, we got the same value, and that was the value that was provided in the problem itself. A great way to learn is to practice on your own. We will discuss in a bit, but go ahead and pause your screen and do these 2 problems. Okay, so we have Nathan and his 4 friends. They went to a restaurant and decided to divide the bill evenly. That means each person will pay the same amount. If the total bill was $87.30, what did each person pay? We will look at that question being asked to help determine our unknown variable x. The question is, what did each person pay? So our variable x will define as the amount each person paid. Again, this is our unknown. It's Nathan and his 4 friends. So there's going to be 5 folks total. They're each going to pay the same amount. They're each going to pay x. We have 5 x's. So 5x equal to $87.30. Solving this equation, we get 17.46. So each person paid $17.46. If the weight of a package multiplied by 3/7 is 14.7 pounds, what is the weight of the package? Again, looking at the question asked, what is the weight of the package? We'll use that to help define our unknown variable. We'll define x as the weight of the package. And the problem writes the equation. So we're taking a package and we're multiplying it by 3/7. So 3/7 times the weight of the package is 14.7. Now I converted 14.7 into a fraction. That way we don't have a combination of fractions and decimals in the same equation. So 14.7 is the same as 147 divided by 10. And then to solve the equation, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 3/7 is 7/3. Multiplying both sides by 7/3. We end up with 343 over 10. And then converting this fraction back into a decimal, we end up with x equal to 34.3. So the package weighs 34.3 pounds. Continue practicing writing and solving equations, and I'll see you in the next video.